Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about shame. So feelings of unworthiness, not enoughness and shame around a specific thing to hopefully help you dissolve those feelings of shame. So are there some situations or conversations in your life where you feel triggered into feelings of shame, feelings of not enoughness, feelings of unworthiness around a specific thing, a specific event or a specific life circumstance or personality trait or whatever it is? So a few examples. So someone asks you what you did at the weekend and you didn't do anything because you don't have many friends. Or maybe you get asked by someone new that you've just met, what do you do for work? And at the moment, you're working at McDonald's, or maybe you're unemployed, maybe you've just been fired. Or maybe you've got some shame around coming from a broken family, having a shit ton of debt, having a failing business. Maybe you haven't had sex in over 5 years. Maybe you didn't finish your university degree. So regardless of the specific circumstances, if you are experiencing feelings of shame, or you have recently, I'm going to share some thoughts to help you dissolve those feelings of shame. So to begin, I've got 2 questions for you. So 1, in what situations do you find yourself feeling not enough, feeling triggered, feeling ashamed? And the second question is, what is it that you think or you expect people to judge you for? What is the specific thing that you feel that people are judging you about? So just bringing a sense of clarity so that you can start to play with the ideas that I present in this video and apply them to your own situation. And I just want you to know that everything that I'm sharing with you has come from my own experiences and my own sort of processing of my own feelings of shame around various things in my life. It's not just you, and there is nothing wrong with you. And I hope that alone can offer you some comfort. So the first point that I think is really important is to know that when we feel this, when we feel these feelings of shame, we've got to understand that the negative feelings that we're experiencing are coming from our own self-judgment. Just recognizing that this maybe feeling of contraction, this feeling of, this sense of shrinking is largely coming from us judging ourselves. And I think that alone is quite powerful, in just recognizing that I'm the one causing the pain that I'm feeling. Because when our habits are so automatic, it almost feels like it's coming from outside of us, but often it's coming from our own reaction. And number 2 is that the self-judgment that we are engaging in is coming from the programming that has been going on for a long time, from the culture, the society, the family that we grow up in, has developed this kind of certain way of thinking and these certain beliefs about how we should be. So essentially we judge ourselves because we believe that certain conditions must be met in order for us to be liked, to be valued, to be respected, etc. But these conditions that we think we need to meet are actually made up. They're man-made. And we can either decide to continue living in this program, or we can decide and actually recognize that we're above it. Number 3 is that self-judgment is not helping you. So it's normal for us to want to fit in and to be liked. It's an evolutionary thing. So when we were thousands of years ago, whenever humans first started walking around, our survival is largely dependent on who we are like our tribe, who we belong to, you know, the community around us. So if we are a part of a tribe, we're going to be taken care of, we're going to be protected, we're going to, you know, work as a team to find food and all of that. And if we are rejected from the tribe, that's not going to be so good. We might find ourselves like being murdered or being abandoned and struggle to be able to look after ourselves. So fitting in is kind of this like thing that's ingrained in us because it's linked to our survival. And so our brains switch on stress and self-criticism when it detects a threat to our fitting in, to our being approved by our society, by our environment, by our community. And this is because at one point this meant life or death. But obviously now, if we don't quote unquote fit in a particular environment with a particular set of friends, we're not approved of by one person or 10, that's not actually a risk to our safety. In most situations, that's not a risk to our safety. We're still going to be alive. So once it was this helpful mechanism, like, okay, you better fit in with the tribe, otherwise you're going to get kicked out. But now it's kind of this thing where we get trapped in this like habit of wanting to please people and wanting to behave in a certain way to meet the approval of others. So we end up becoming over-attached to what people think of us. And this causes us to shrink. So we end up saying things or behaving in certain ways that we think other people are going to approve of. In this way, we become less of ourselves and more of this like fake version of ourselves. And this is something when I look back to my like 20s, I used to do like all the time because I was so scared that people wouldn't approve of me that I would just like make up stuff, you know, to try and fit in. And I could feel myself, like I felt weak inside by thinking that I needed to do that, and also by doing that. You know, it's not a place of strength to be pretending that you're something you're not. And honestly, people can feel it. People can feel when you're not being quite true to yourself. Another point is that when some people can see that you're kind of like hesitant to say certain things, or like, you know, you're kind of looking down as you admit something, some people will take advantage of that. They will feed off of that, like, and poke you with a stick. Saying all of that, if there is an aspect of yourself that you would like to change and where there is some shame around, so let's say this example of maybe your social life isn't so great, and so that's something you're feeling ashamed about, but you also would like to change it. That's cool. You can desire a change, but just being aware that self-judgment is never a good foundation for change. So once we get rid of that self-judgment and that self-criticism and that tension, we actually have more energy to create the positive change that we want to make. So self-criticism, self-judgment isn't actually helping. It's this sort of trick that our mind plays, that we think it's helping us, or we subconsciously think it's helping us. So we keep doing it, but it's not. It's just keeping us stuck. Number 4, can't count, number 4, is accept yourself, because self-worth is unconditional. And as I mentioned, I struggled with all of this stuff a lot when I was in my 20s, and I really wish I'd known this. I really wish I had been told this and understood it and believed it, that actually it's not about the things, it's not about what you own or how you look or, you know, your CV or any of the criteria that we place on ourselves. It's not about that. Like, our self-worth is beyond that. We're so much bigger than that list. So reminding ourselves that we are worthy of respect, we are worthy of love and kindness because we exist. So bringing acceptance to the thing that you're feeling ashamed about, and you can do this privately, you can do this on your own, just internally. So just saying to yourself, I accept who I am, I accept where I'm at right now in my life, and the thing is that when we stop condemning who we are or where we are in life, the contraction stops, that contracted, stressed feeling, that pain. It starts to loosen. You start to be yourself more and more as you start to accept who you are right now. And this is a really important point, and I know it can be hard to wrap your head around it, especially if, like me, you've gone for years thinking that there is something wrong with you or thinking that you're not good enough. We are most likable when we are our true selves. When we are totally relaxed and in the moment, not when we are trying to prove something. So think about the version of you that you are when you are with your closest friends or family members, the ones you just light up around. So in my opinion, when I think about myself, that is the real me, the one who is expressing freely, the one who's being playful, the one who's just being all of themselves. That version of you is the most attractive, the most magnetic, not to everyone, but to the people that you are meant to be around, the people who are at that frequency. And so when we kind of dim our light because we're hiding, because we're thinking that there's something wrong with us, that we're not able to kind of let that true version of us shine, and we're not able to kind of embody that frequency, and therefore attract the people of that frequency, the life situations of that frequency. So reducing shame is like energy protection. That is going to help you not only stop feeling these hard feelings, this internal stress, but also start to see how life can open up for you. And number 5 is that some people will judge you for this thing that you feel shame around, but it doesn't matter. So the people that will judge you, they just don't get it yet. They don't get that you are so much more than a bunch of attributes and possessions and a list of, checked boxes. And truth is, they probably look at themselves in just as harsh a way as you probably used to. I'm going to say used to because we're not doing that anymore. And another thing around this, it doesn't matter if they judge you thing, is I can't remember where I heard it from, but I heard this phrase, rejection is protection, and I absolutely love it because it just makes total sense to me. So the people who accept you for who you are the kind of people you want to be around. You don't want to be the people who like you because you have a certain job or you have something they envy or whatever it is, whatever your certain kind of thing is. You want to be around the people who can see your brilliance, who can see your light, and they're not bothered by the criteria, because there is no criteria. It's man-made. So when you fear judgment, you fear that someone's judging you, or maybe you can see that they are judging you for this thing, and maybe they're making rude comments. Keep coming back to the fact that your worthiness doesn't depend on Sally Joe's approval, and keep reminding yourself, I accept myself. I accept how things are. I accept that this is the situation right now. Feel how your internal stress starts to lower because you are not adding fire to the flames by judging yourself anymore. And actually that was the biggest source of the flames. Notice how it feels to see that actually that other person can judge you and you're above it. Because you're no longer clinging to this idea of I must be this certain way. So quick recap. Notice where there is a trigger, something's been triggered inside of you that's making you feel ashamed. that's maybe making you say things with the hope of being approved of by others. And notice that feeling, that internal stress, is coming from self-judgment. And recognize that judgment comes from programming. Recognize that programming and that judgment is not actually helping you to feel more connected to others. It's actually making you even more isolated. And that actually, when you allow yourself to be you, whatever that means in this moment, you will allow yourself to be of the frequency of people that you actually want to be around. Lastly, remembering that you are worthy of love and respect as you are, and with that knowledge, letting that fuel a sense of acceptance in yourself. And the more you do that, the more you allow yourself to be you, whatever that looks like right now, the more energy you will have to create the life that you desire. And I really want to hammer this point home, that the best version of you is the one who accepts you as you and who loves you. That is the most transformative thing that we can ignite within us, self-love. And when we love ourselves, we can love those around us a lot more easily. Now, I know these things aren't necessarily easy. It's not like you don't turn a switch on and then you're done. It's a process. But just going forward, as you notice those feelings of contraction around shame, starting to create a new habit around it of self-acceptance, just see how that feels. Alright, well, thank you so much for listening. I hope that was helpful, and let me know in the comments, let me know if you've got any questions, and I hopefully will see you in the next video.